Men depend on women being dumb, right? Which is why they want young chicks who are impressionable, like old boy said on that.
Some men,
yeah,
but other men may not want that.
The majority. Because no, seriously, because y'all men are predators by nature. Y'all hunters, predators.
Is age gap dating? How do we feel about older individuals dating much younger individuals? Princella, let's start with you.
I don't care if it's a male or female. I am not for major age gaps because there is a power gap and people are out here power driven and ego driven, and most people in those younger age gaps end up getting screwed over. It's unethical for older people to be with kids or younger people that they have power over.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
This is Priscilla, the Queen Maker, and apparently she specializes in turning women into queens, I guess, runs some sort of female empowerment program where she's now accused of grooming young women. Now, to be honest, I think most of you probably recognize her and you've probably seen her on a bunch of different platforms. One of the most controversial stances she's made about men is how men are natural predators. She said this on the Real Life podcast where she called men predators who depend on young women being dumb so that they could take advantage of them. Now, before you say, I don't see what's so controversial about this so far. Well, after stating on multiple platforms how she believes men who have very wide age gaps between, how old they are and the young women that they're dating is predatory behavior, she's been caught at 40 years old dating a 23-year-old. And I just want you guys to watch the mental gymnastics that this chick goes through to actually try and prove that any of this makes sense. Let's go back to her original stance here and check this out. And by the way, in case you guys haven't figured it out, she's obviously a stud who dates women. And so this adds like an extra layer and twist to this whole situation because you're protecting women from men who are predatory when you're doing the exact same thing. So this is her predatory statement on the Real Life production, which I think I called podcast earlier, where she boldly called men predators for dating young women.
What I am saying is this: when you put women in the know, when you make them intelligent and you put them on game, the decisions and behavior changes. Men depend on women being dumb, right? Which is why they want young chicks who are impressionable, like old boy said on that.
Some men,
yeah,
but other men may not want that.
The majority. Because y'all men are predators by nature. Y'all hunters, predators. Y'all have to get resources. Y'all fight for resources. You compete for resources. And however you get your resources, you're going to pluck the easiest one. So the more docile and the more ignorant and naive a particular prey is, the easier it is for you to get your hands on it.
So there you guys go. She says men are attracted to young women because they're docile and they are predators and they love taking advantage of those women. And so when people saw this, her with the younger woman, who they soon found out is 23 years old, and she's 39, 40 years old, they said, wait a second, why are you in such a vast age gap relationship? Guys, just to be clear, I am not someone who thinks there's anything wrong with two legal adults entering a relationship. I've said it many times. We're entering the world of delusional modern women right now. That's what we're doing.
No, I'll have a tea, actually.
We're drinking tea for this episode, and we're kind of like flies on the wall here. Let's talk about the sponsor of this channel, fathershaverights.com. Engaged and soon-to-be married men, hiring the wrong lawyer can leave you with an overpriced, unenforceable prenup. Avoid the trap. Inside my step-by-step guide at fathershaverights.com, renowned attorneys James Sexton and the lead attorney lay out the exact questions to ask, red flags to spot, and proven steps to hiring the perfect prenup lawyer. The guide itself costs only a couple of dinner dates, far less than a single billable hour. Hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section, lock in your guide, and join the hundreds of men securing their marriages the right way. Again, in the majority of relationships where there's wide age gaps, I don't necessarily classify all those situations as predatory situations, like most of the chicks here that you're about to see who do that and are being caught doing the same thing actually do. So we're just watching and we're pointing and laughing at the same time. So the woman that I first saw expose her was another feminist who released this video with the caption, "Priscilla, the Queen Maker, is a two-faced snake and predator." Check it out.
Priscilla is a 39-year-old dating a 23-year-old, right? She's a predator, just like the men that I talk about who are predators, just like she has talked about being a predator. That's why I'm making these videos, because today is when I found out all of this information. People are saying, why didn't you do this research before you were going to debate her? I didn't know I was going to debate her. She came in my DMs acting like she was a girly pop, like a friend. She was like, hey, girly, no, I totally understand. Like, we could just chat about decentering men, life, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, she was just trying to divide and conquer using that live. So not only is she a fake-ass bitch, she's also a predator. During that live, she said, you're just young, you're inexperienced. But she is dating a 23-year-old, housing her, living together. I was under the impression that she had some women in her house that was like her same age, right? She mentions that they live together. It's just asexual. Like, it's really not that serious. Y'all don't understand what partnership is. That's what she talked about on one of her lives. So I just imagine someone her age, level-headed with her, watching her kid with her. She has a young adult in her house. I, at my age, wouldn't be friends with even 23-year-olds, okay? Why would I have a 23-year-old living with me? I talk about these same things about men because it's weird. It doesn't matter if it's over the legal age of 18. It's weird. So that's why I'm talking about this, because this is newfound knowledge for me. If we're going to hold men up to these standards of being perverts, which she also does talk about, that men like to go after women that are young and naive. Why is she acting like the men?
It's true.
Because it's one thing for her to make her comments on live, and I get it. People are like, she's being a misogynist. But it's another thing to be a predator. It also just shows how codependent she is. Because let me guess, her talking point about this situation is going to be similar to what the men say, right? She's just so mature for her age. We just get along better. To me, that's weird. Because if she's going to call me young, naive, no experience, even though I didn't get tricked by some old man and got pregnant within 2 months.
Damn, shots fired. I mean, like, real cat fight over here.
Clearly, I'm more intelligent than her. But if I'm young and naive, what the does she think about that girl that's 23 years old? Which, by the way, I think she met her through her like little program shit, which I think is weird. So this course thing where you are teaching women, right? Queen Maker, you're just looking for young, naive women to date? You know who else does shit like that? Cult leaders. Marilyn Manson might come to mind. This is predatory behavior. Using her platform to find young and naive women? Absolutely, I'm going to be saying something. I unfollowed her right after that live, and I said, thanks, I hope that y'all got what you wanted from that live. Something along those lines, something really short and brief. She sends me 2 paragraphs about some bullshit about, it's just how you perceive it.
Now, probably the most craziest thing about this whole situation is this isn't the first time that the Queen Maker has been exposed for grooming or tricking women into going the other way. Her ex, I believe, did the same thing with this video that I'm not going to play. That's titled Priscilla, the Queen Maker Gets Exposed by B. Taylor. All these videos are online. And so she keeps on getting accused of the same thing that she claims men do just for simply getting into relationships with women who are younger than them. Except in her situation, it really does sound a bit strange. You live together with a bunch of women, from what it sounds like, is what I hear so far, and you end up falling for them, and they're very young, and you're sort of the figurehead in that situation. I don't know. I'm not going to make any claims. I will say that so far, I think what she has going on is more predatory than a guy who happens to be dating a woman who's 6 years younger than him.
Somebody said, girl, where's your family? At home?
At home, she talks about that.
Nah, they want
Look, daddy love me.
Yeah. She met my dad.
What you talking about?
Yeah. That was very pleasant. I actually got those memories that came up on my phone.
Yeah.
That was very pleasant. Girl, I'm 24 years old. I'm a grown, independent woman. I don't live with my parents anymore.
I'm trying to figure out why you think she in so much danger. And look, a motherfucker that's trying to do something, they will isolate you from your family. They need to isolate you. You motherfuckers is headed just, you grasping for straws. You grasping. You're mad because you ain't cute. You're mad because you're broke. Okay? Right? You mad because I got the juice. You mad because I got the juice. You hate the fact that both men and women want me. That's you don't like that shit.
So here she is getting at the women online. Says, you're just mad that both men and women want me.
Yeah, I do. I got a nigga in my inbox right now. Stop playing, girl. You know you can't.
I saw that. You can't make this shit up, yo.
These niggas still be in my motherfucking inbox.
Yo, the way they shoot they shot in the inbox, y'all. Oh my god. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. Getting up here talking about, oh, you too masculine. And y'all love that shit. You know they love a challenge.
Yeah.
They love that shit.
You mad because you can get over every nigga in your inbox. And I ain't know they want me.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Always gotta screenshot your DMs to let everybody know you get niggas. Girl, don't nobody care.
Y'all
Don't mean nothing.
Niggas stay in my goddamn inbox.
Okay.
Here she is bragging about how ninjas stay in her inbox and she attracts all the young thotties from the internet. I mean, this is kind of crazy. And I'm listening to the 23-year-old chick talk. They almost sound the same. You know, like she's mimicking her after spending all this time with her. More hypocrisy.
Age gap dating. How do we feel about older individuals dating much younger individuals? Princella, let's start with you.
I'm a leader in my mentality, and even when you are, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, military, whatever, you have a code of ethics. The higher you go, it becomes unethical to date or deal with lower enlisted people, right? Because you have a power over them. So when it comes to, I don't care if it's a male or female, I am not for major age gaps because there is a power gap and people are out here power driven and ego driven, and most people in those younger age gaps end up getting screwed over, right?
I gotta say, never did I think that I would be on the side of the feminist with the sleeve tattoo. The caption on this video says, Priscilla, the queen maker, in a 16-year gap relationship with a 23-year-old.
And I'm a humanitarian, and I'm about righteousness, and it's unethical for older people to be with kids.
Well, that's very odd. That's very suspicious, isn't it? Someone that thinks that age gap relationships are unethical, why the is she in a 16-year age gap relationship with someone who was 23 when she met her? Not only is it hypocritical, which I think is the lightest label I can put on this, it's actually just perverted. Moving in a 23-year-old into your house in a year after she goes to your coaching program? Talk about unethical behavior and business practices.
Because she mature. Why you dating a 23-year-old? Why you...
There's also this video right here I thought was pretty funny. I mean, the bold contradictions. It's one thing for people to have a hard time piecing together your contradictions, but when they're this obvious, it just turns into a comedy. Here's what this video is responding to. It's a comment from the Queen Makers page. It says, Priscilla during her live, I don't want to be like y'all women out here dressing to catch attention of men. But then look right below what she posted this year with the laughing and crying emojis. The hypocrisy is insane, doing kissy faces. Here she is. That's her.
How the you gonna say I'm like a man? I'm nothing like a man. Because you naturally like men to destroy the world, bitch. Can I be like a man and you hate women so much? I'm a woman, sweetie. Always was, always will be. I'm just not no weak bitch. I'm just not no weak bitch. I'm just not desperate enough to have my titties out for attention. I got 730 in here and not an ounce of goddamn titty showing. Not an ounce of goddamn titty showing, man. You confused. You confused.
Hilarious.
You act like somebody is kidnapping kids and shit. Kids.
Because that's going to be censored, I just want you guys to know, she says, you act like I'm out here kidnapping kids.
You're sick in the head if you think that. I want you to understand again, Shaquille O'Neal is dating a 21-year-old chick, and he's 52. He's 52. And you will always say, she grown. She grown. I'm 39 with a 24-year-old. Princess, explain yourself. Why are you dating a child? Bitch, what the is wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
So the question here just simply comes down to, listen, if men are predators for dating young women, and the 16-year age gap is pretty significant, right? You'd call that a large age gap. If they're predators and they're a danger to women, what does that make you? This is the accountability part that, of course, she's trying everything to avoid. Now, this might be the worst video. Do you guys remember when R. Kelly was fighting for his life to stay out of jail and had the different women who he was dealing with, the young women releasing videos, pretty much told them to act natural, like they're not being held hostage? Well, this is one of those videos from the actual chick. At least that's the vibe I get.
I guess it's about time I formally introduce myself. I'm Jasmine, Princella's forever 23-year-old girlfriend. And it's recently come to my attention that I'm being groomed, pimped. I don't have a mind of my own. I'm a child. Mind you, I'm 24 going on 25. Mind you, I used to be a stripper. I can drink, I can rent, I can drive, I can strip for grown-ass men, but I can't make my own relationship decisions. In the eyes of the law, I am a legal adult. And the law is the only thing that actually matters when we're going to get up here and claim sexual assault and pimping. And I find it so funny that all of this is coming from a woman who voted for Trump. Supposedly, no one can ever run game on her, but you got pimped by Trump, tricked by Trump. Same woman that used to speak so highly of Princella, the Queenmaker. All of a sudden, the mask is off, she's a fraud, she's all this. Well, why couldn't you see through game? You're the expert, right? You don't get to get up here and bring me into it using fake outrage because you don't give a about me. You're trying to use me as a pawn against Princella to try to damage her reputation, which isn't going to work because guess what? The truth don't need no defense. Authenticity is authenticity, period.
Doesn't she sound like she used Told to say all this? She sounds so much like her. It's kind of, it's kind of eerie.
On camera and off camera. Anybody that with me knows this. It's only people who are not in their right mind, who are driven by greed, validation, and manipulation that claim that Princella is such a predator. My thing is, if you knew game, why couldn't you see that from the jump street? See, you played yourself when you came on her live in the first place. You obviously don't watch Princella because anybody in their right mind knows if you're not authentic, you don't got no business talking to her. Why? Because she's going to pull the mask right off of you. Ma'am, when you were on live, you could not speak up for yourself. You could not articulate and defend yourself. Yet, you're so mature and you know game. Yet, you voted to put a man in office who openly hates women. Mind you, you're a woman. Mind you, you're also now calling yourself the queen of decentering men while voting for a misogynistic man. And also validating that by saying you don't believe a woman can run an office because it's too dangerous for the global political stage. That's bullshit. You identify with being white more than you identify with being a woman. My thing is, don't bring me into this. You don't know me from a can of paint. And now everybody is so concerned about my age, as if I'm not a legal grown adult. As if I don't have a mind of my own. And my thing about this pimping thing, coming from the strip club, knowing pimping whole culture. If you're being pimped out as a whole, you got to pay your pimp. Well, that doesn't quite align with my scenario because I get paid. And little do you know, I don't have to pay for anything.
You can tell this chick is young. I hate to say it. You can. The irony in all this is she will probably end up making one of these videos that was made by the Queenmakers, one of her exes, pretty much saying you guys were right. And at that point, I will still believe she's a grown adult who had the choice to choose and needs to learn her lessons.
Nothing. We've been together for a year and a half, going on 2 years. Never asked me for a dime. I work for her company. I get paid. Paid very well, might I ask. I have my dream career. I'm able to utilize my skills, gifts, and natural talents in order to create a position in business that not only adds value to me, but adds value to the community. And y'all are trying to weaponize this as if our relationship is so bad. You're so concerned for my safety. And it's total fake outrage and you don't give a fuck about me. Crazy part about this is I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I make more money than I've ever made, even as a stripper. And you're really trying to sit here and act like I'm being pimped out against my will? And since you brought me into it, it's only right that I speak up for myself. You will never beat the Trump charges because it's not alleged. You admitted to willingly voting to put this man in office. Look at everything he's done in 7 months in office. You're partially responsible for that.
So, of course, I guess they're bringing politics into it at this point. I can't listen to the rest of this video. Guys, I'm curious to know, what do you think? I guess we could check out a few comments here, see what the people have to say. This commenter here says, Priscilla told she would never date someone so young because there is a power imbalance. I think this person meant Priscilla said she would never date anyone else who had an extreme age gap because there's a power imbalance. We saw that in the video. And then did the opposite. There is hypocrisy. Someone else here says, girl, the age gap is problematic. Here's another person who says, she talks like her. And somebody else responded back and says, that's a compliment. Oh, shit. She responded back and says, that's a compliment. Another person says, I was going to say, you remind me of Priscilla too, but not as an insult, definitely a compliment. Another person who says, you will understand in a few years. Age gap is big when you are so young. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.